Good evening, this is Tokyo printmaker Dave Bull here again in our Asakusa shop with the promised third episode showing the production of the prints that we are preparing for the backers of our Patreon campaign. If you've watched the first two episodes, you know that the block set is basically ready for proof printing, and that's what we are going to see here. These days, the only printing work I get to do is over in our print party room demonstrating for the visitors. So in a kind of a desperate attempt to keep my muscle memories intact, I did this proofing job myself. Let's watch. I realized when starting to put this video together that there's one stage in the process that we haven't been covering in these presentations, and that's the moistening of the paper before printing starts. So this time I included it. While we're doing the printing process, the paper itself is always sandwiched between sheets of moist newspaper, and you saw me get a few of those ready just now. Then with that base in place, I've been moistening paper here two at a time, quite heavily because it's quite dry paper. Once enough printing paper for the batch is all in there, some more newspaper comes on top to make a sandwich of the whole thing. It of course needs some time to settle. We frequently do this the night before, ready to start printing in the morning. In this case, I did this early in the morning and came back in the evening to start printing. This is the block you saw in the cold open just a minute ago. It's the key block, of course, which is where we always start. And this is not a particularly difficult one, but because of those border lines, look at this. I'm pulling pigment out of those lines and then again in the inside print. In the comments section to one of these videos recently, somebody brought up the point that it was difficult for them to understand the flow of this work because I made too many cuts, shortening up some of the procedures. So for the policy for this one, we're going to let each one of these things run right to the end. You're going to see me do the brushing in real time with no cuts, and then when I switch to the rubbing tool, it'll be the same thing. There we are, key block plus one color. I should mention that the brown you see at the top of the tree branches there isn't a misregistration. It's the way John designed it for us. The small blob of white, transparent stuff you see going on the block there on most of these blocks is Yamato Nori, a bit of Japanese paste. It's there to help spread the liquid pigment out in a smooth way so that we don't get a mottled, watery appearance. We're going to play the game a little bit different on this block, and the design calls for a basic kind of grey tone, but what we're going to do here is put a grey at the top and then a bit more of a blue-grey on the bottom print. Just a tiny bit more variation for no real extra work. I guess most people won't even notice the difference between these two colors, and actually considering they're going to get these prints some months apart, of course they won't notice. People who visit our workroom and see the process know they're always surprised about this point, how little pigment it actually takes on the block to make a beautiful smooth impression of any given color. You see that I've switched to a different kind of brush for this one. The previous one that looked kind of like a shoe brush, holds lots of pigment for quite a wide area, but because the printing area here is so small, this smaller brush will do just fine. So there we are, that block set is indeed fine for printing, and by the time you see this video, one of our printers will be deep in the work of pulling the first batch, and as soon as they're done, our shipping ladies will get the first one on its way to the patrons. What's left to mention? Yes, the Kickstarter campaign. These videos of ours get views long after they're made, so there isn't much point putting in a lot of time-sensitive news. But my staff this time does want me to remind you that our new Kickstarter campaign will be opening in just a couple of weeks from now at the end of August. What will be featured in this campaign, you'll just have to wait and see. Thank you for watching, everybody. What will be featured in this campaign, trust me, it will be boss. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Good night, and we'll see you next time.